Some houses are condemned because the wood is rotten. Ashgrove Manor was condemned because something inside it wouldn't stop killing people. The county calls it a structural hazard, a sealed, gold-leafed, $15 million estate at the edge of Millbrook Hollow, chained shut, wired with sensors, ringed by a fence that reads, "Keep out." Officially, the house failed 41 safety violations, staircases that count differently going up than coming down, wiring that powers rooms which, per the blueprints, don't exist. The inspector who filed that report resigned the same week, never said why. 9 people have died on that property since 1962. The state doesn't call it haunted. The state calls it uninhabitable by permanent structural default. Everyone in Millbrook Hollow knows what that really means. His name was Derek Voss, 31, insurance investigator. The kind of guy who didn't scare. He audited. He didn't believe in ghosts. He believed in liability and getting home for his daughter's bedtime, which is why, when his firm handed him the Ashgrove file, he groaned instead of flinched. Somebody's still paying premiums on a house nobody can legally enter, his supervisor said. They want proof of active loss before the policy lapses. That's you. There's no ghost in an insurance claim, Derek said. That's what the last guy said too. At the gate, a padlock the size of his fist, a sun-bleached notice citing violations by number, unstable load distribution, unexplained electrical draw, repeated unauthorized occupancy, cause undetermined. His phone buzzed. No signal out here, no reason for a notification, one unread message, no contact name, a photo of the house taken from inside the locked gate. You'll need the real key, not the county's. Derek's hand found the door handle before his brain caught up. Up close, the manor didn't look condemned. It looked waiting. A side door hung open, not broken, open, like an invitation. Inside, the foyer's ceiling rose 2 stories higher than any blueprint allowed. The staircase curved upward, 17 steps going up, 22 coming down. He wrote it off as fatigue. Then he heard a piano, slow, deliberate, coming from a room the county survey listed as bricked over since 1979. He followed it anyway. The music stopped the moment he opened the door. A woman sat at a desk stacked with yellowed county paperwork, dark hair pinned up, dry as straw, unmoving even as she turned her head. A dress decades out of fashion. The white gone the color of old teeth. Her skin had the texture of wet paper stretched too thin over bone, and in the lamplight, if he looked too long, he could see the shape of her jaw shift slightly beneath it, like something underneath was testing to fit. Her eyes were the flat black of a closed lens. No white, no iris, just 2 wet holes that swallowed the light instead of reflecting it. "You're the 9th this year to open that door," she said. Her voice came out half a second before her lips moved, the words arriving early, like she was being dubbed over herself. "Most don't make it to a second room. Who are you? This place is sealed. I never left," she said. "I'm the reason it's sealed. I built this house. I died in it. The county spent 60 years trying to file me out of existence. 41 violations. I've read every one. I like the attention." The papers on her desk rustled. No draft moved through the room. "Walk with me," she said, rising. She rose too smoothly. No shift of weight, no hand on the desk, like she'd simply been switched from sitting to standing. Her bare feet made no sound on the floorboards, and for one flickering instant, in the dim light, Her shadow on the wall didn't rise with her. It stayed seated at the desk a full second longer, watching him leave. "I'll show you violation 12 myself." The hallway narrowed with every step, ceiling dropping until Derek had to duck. "The walls don't fail to hold weight," Ilsa said. "They hold exactly what they're meant to. They just hold it in." She opened a door that pulsed warm under his hand, onto a stairwell dropping far past where the foundation should end. Cold air rushed up. Whispers rose with it, dozens, overlapping, one word repeating in every voice. "Stay, stay, stay. 9 people have died here since I did," Ilsa said. "Each one is still paying rent." Figures began appearing on the steps below, not walking, just there, closer, with each blink. A man in a hard hat, a soaked teenage boy, a county inspector clutching a clipboard, violation 41 pinned to his ruined chest. "They found the house," Ilsa said, "same as you're about to." Derek backed away. "This is just a story. A warning for investors." Ilsa's patient smile split too wide for a heartbeat, past where a jaw should stop, the corners tearing soundlessly toward her ears, revealing something behind it that wasn't a mouth at all, just a black, moving dark, like looking down a well with no bottom. Her paper-thin skin sagged loose for that same heartbeat, as though whatever wore Ilsa's face had simply forgotten to hold the shape. Then it snapped back, smooth, patient, perfectly human again, which was somehow worse. "Then be a good story," she said. "Every good story needs a body." And this time, the shape didn't hold. It started at her hands, fingers lengthening, not breaking, but stretching, knuckles popping wet and slow like something being unscrewed, nails darkening into points the color of old iron. Her spine went next. She didn't crouch, she folded, joint by joint, her back arching the wrong way, vertebrae rippling up through the thin fabric of her dress like something crawling underneath, trying to get out. Her jaw unhinged, with a sound like a door coming off rusted hinges, not wide like an animal's, but long, dropping past her collarbone, lined with teeth that weren't teeth so much as nails, hammered in at random, some pointed inward. Her hair came loose all at once and rose, not falling, rising, drifting outward like it was underwater, each strand moving on its own. And her eyes multiplied, small clusters of the same wet, light-swallowing black blooming along her hairline, down her throat, watching Derek from a dozen places at once. She didn't walk toward him. She unfolded toward him, limbs bending at angles. A body has no business bending. Her feet never once touching the floor. He ran. The hallway stretched impossibly long, doors multiplying, eyes watching from every crack. Behind him, no footsteps, no sound, only the sense of the house closing in around him. Breathing. He hit the foyer at a sprint. The staircase was gone, just a straight black drop where it used to be, and beyond it, the open side door and moonlight. He jumped. He hit the lawn hard, rolled, didn't look back until he was past the fence. The county's padlock still locked exactly where he'd left it, like he'd never gone inside at all. In his rear-view mirror, one gold-trimmed window lit up on the 3rd floor. A silhouette stood in it, not chasing, watching. She raised a hand, not a wave, a promise. Derek filed his report the next morning, leaving out the piano, the staircase, the woman at the desk. One line, active loss confirmed, Property should remain permanently sealed. The county added a 40-second violation within the week. No explanation given. Ash Grove Manor stays sealed to this day. Its yearly upkeep running 6 figures for a house no one may legally enter. A $15 million warning Millbrook Hollow realtors point to when a buyer asks too many questions. Derek told himself it was over. It wasn't. 6 months later, in a city 2 states away, Derek's phone buzzed at 12:09 a.m. No contact name. The same unknown number. One new message. Violation 43. Unauthorized departure. I don't like it when my rent stops paying. Attached, a photo of his own front door, taken from inside his living room, though the blinds were drawn and he was alone. Behind the reflection in the glass, faint but unmistakable, a woman in an old-fashioned dress stood in his own hallway, smiling directly at the camera, and smiling too wide, the corners of her mouth just barely past where a jaw should stop. Her hair hung loose around her shoulders, though not still. Even frozen in a photograph, it looked like it was drifting. If you ever find a house the law says shouldn't exist, too dangerous to sell, too valuable to tear down, too quiet behind its locked gate, don't read the violation numbers out loud. Don't follow the music. And whatever you do, don't let it know your name.